Greetings everybody, I'm Bob Green and welcome to the Trilogy Food Network. Today we're going to be talking about our new Mealtime Express, our room service card. We're going to give you some best practices that are going to help you be successful at your Trilogy Healthcare campus in the execution of our meals throughout our services. So first thing we're going to talk about is our electrical connections. Alright, we're going to talk a little bit about our electrical connections. As you can see from our plug outlet on this unit, it is a positive or a L-shaped plug, so it's going to be a little bit different of a connection. We got to make sure that our campuses are set up with the proper connections for not only our kitchens, but for where we plug the sit in down our halls. So we'll work with our plant operations and make sure that's taken care of correctly. Okay, now that we've done our plug configuration and we've got our unit plugged in, when we first power up the unit, we're going to notice that the unit is in its power standby mode, and this is our electrical control panel. So to get the unit to power on for our hot and cold sides, we're going to hold the power button for approximately 5 seconds. Now it'll kick in and it will tell us what the temperatures are on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. Left-hand side is our our cold side. Right-hand side is our heated side. Now to adjust these temperatures, upon initial setup, these temperatures from the factory will not be set properly. So we're going to show you, along with what's in the owner's manual, how to properly set these temperatures. Now right here in this area, you'll be able to feel and note that there's 2 buttons there that have nothing wrote on those buttons. What we're going to do is on this right-hand square where you would feel the button, we're going to hold that once again for approximately 5 seconds. As we hold that, it'll go into operations setup. Now the first thing it's going to do is give us the opportunity to change or set the temperature on the cold side or the left side of the unit. It comes from the factory at 34 degrees. If we want to adjust that, it would be up or down. We're pretty satisfied with the 34 degrees, so we're going to keep that there. We'll hit the OK button. Now go. Now it's going to show the hot top on. We don't have any controls in the top of our unit, so we're going to just kick OK and go to the next setup. The next setup will be the right side, which is the hot side, and this is our temperature set. Now it comes from the factory at 190. That's a little bit too high. We'd like to kick that down to about 175 or 180. Once again, setting that up, I can kick that unit up. We'll set it at 180, and then we'll hit the OK button, and we'll be set on the right side. I hit the OK button again, it'll take us to the boost temp. Now this is the boost temperature that when we want to really get the maximum out of our heated side in order to maintain integrity and initial startup, we would use the boost. So we'll leave that at the 210, and the next thing it will show is the boost time. That will last for 10 minutes. We want to leave that at 10 minutes. We'll go back and it'll show us our time segment. We're currently at 11:31. Our time is set, so we have our time set. We're getting ready for lunch service. We'll kick OK one more time, and all the time is stored. Now it goes back into our configuration. Now we won't have to mess with those buttons again, and every time we shut it down or unplug it, it will maintain those exact temperatures. The other part of the electrical panel that I would like to showcase is we also have lighting. And there we have LED lighting, and the lighting is going to help us and give us a nice aesthetic feel when we're going down the halls. Gives a nice look as we're executing and serving our meals. So now we're going to move on to the next portion, which will be setting up the cart pre-meal. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about pre-meal setup. This is getting our cart ready in the kitchen before we start making plates and putting the hot food in and the cold food in. So this is what our cart should look like for a pre-meal setup. Now we've went ahead and set this up, and we're going to showcase each item to you. First of all, we would have our trays. You'll note that we are using the nice handled tray. Those trays look like they are a hotel style tray. They have the handles on them. They also are dishwasher safe. Our silverware is all pre-wrapped. It's in a separate container. We have our glassware for our juices, our glassware for our water, and then we also have all of our beverage according to what we're going to be taking down the hall. We all learn what our resident preferences are, so those are the items that we've been taking down the hall. Now those items are packaged and put in place in a Lexan container. Some of us have purchased the wood box that would go around this. We want this once again to look nice. Then we have our condiment cabinet. The condiment cabinet has all of our different creamers, sugars, the different flavors of sugar. Some like the different types. If we have flavored creamers, we would have them in there. We also have tea, have crackers, anything else that we would need for our condiment setup as we get down the hall. And you'll notice on the top of the unit, we have salt and pepper shakers. Individual residents may want a salt and pepper shaker served with their meal. We have our ice so that we can scoop ice as we're making our plates to take into the rooms. We have more of our condiments, which is our mustard, ketchup, mayo. Some may prefer Grey Poupon. And then we have our coffee cups and our coffee decanters. You'll notice that we also have a little grab it, and there's some different styles of these, and we will use these in the execution of pulling our plates. We'll showcase that a little bit later. You'll notice underneath all of these units, we have matting. This anti-slip bar matting, we've instructed all of the campuses to purchase this when you get your cart. This will make it so that when you're rolling down the hall, you hit some of those transition strips, or you're rolling down carpet and it's a little bumpy, it's not going to shake everything around. Everything will maintain where it's at. It'll stay in place, anti-slip. Okay, now we've got the cart set up for our meal execution. The next thing we're going to do is showcase plating our meals and putting the meals into the unit. All right, now we're starting the pre-meal, get everything ready for execution on our room service cart down the hall. So as you can see, we're putting our meals together. Now the first thing you'll notice is that we're putting the tray ticket in with the cold items. So he's got the individual residence tray ticket, and accompanying that will be the resident has ordered a salad. This is a different type of salad, so it doesn't have a dressing. If we had a dressing that day, we would have a choice of dressing. And also the resident's dessert. Those are being laid out on the carts, on the trays, as we get things ready. So we've got our room service ticket, our salad, and our dessert. For these individual trays, those are the only cold items that we currently have. Okay, so as we're getting ready for the production of our hot items, the first thing we want to do is we want to get this up to its maximum temperature. This way, when we're plating our food, we're getting it in there, we're going to make sure that we're going to maintain the integrity of the food during all the times this door is going to be open and closed. And we're also going to make sure that we're keeping the best temperature that we can possibly keep. So in order to do that, we're going to kick this into the boost mode. Now to put this unit into the boost mode, we're going to press and hold. You'll notice we pressed and hold the plus sign. It goes into the boost mode. You'll also notice that it cut off our LED lighting. Now whenever you turn the unit on the boost mode, it takes power from everywhere else and it puts all that power centered toward the boost, which will raise our temperature very fast. It'll run for that boost mode for 10 minutes. So we want to run that for the good 10-minute cycle before we start to plate up our hot food. And you'll continually see our hot food temperature side rise in temperature. That'll go all the way up to our set temperature of 180 degrees. All right, now we're starting our meal execution. We're starting to prepare our plates that are going to go in the hot site of our Mealtime Express cart. Now we've got Keith over here who's plating our meals up today. And as you'll notice, Keith has his meal plated. We've got a delicious looking meal. And then he's writing on the top of that individual stainless steel cover, he's putting his room number or his name on top there. So that will match the tray ticket that we currently see on the cold side that's already been made up inside the Mealtime Express cart. All right, what you'll see now is Keith is loading up his hot food. Now he's corresponding the individual cold side that you'll see over here with the tray ticket. And then over there on his hot side, he's putting in the plates with the room number, the name on the stainless steel domes, right in the top there. So when they get down, we make sure that we're corresponding or matching. This way we're matching any diet orders, whether they be therapeutic diets or what have you. Okay, now we're down the hall. We have our Mealtime Express plugged in. I've got Keith and Anne-Marie here that are going to help me with the execution of our meals. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to get our side lifted up so we can start putting our room trays together. We want to make sure that we've got our team approach works best. We've got people down here ready to start with the execution and the delivery of our meals. Okay, now we've got Keith and Anne-Marie here, and Keith's going to start pulling off the food out of the hot and the cold sides. Anne-Marie's got the tray lifted up. We're ready to go. We make sure we got our meal ticket. Anne-Marie is our last defense against making sure that we have the proper meal. We've got to make sure that we're following the individual diet order for everybody that we serve. So Keith's going ahead, pulling out hot food corresponding with the tray ticket. We have our full meal ready to go. Anne Marie's going to take that down. At the same time, she's going to find out what the beverage of choice is for our resident. We'll come back and get that beverage also covered. We also have to have food covered going down the halls, so everything's got either a cellophane covering over it, or it's got our hot dome that's getting ready to go down. All right, as you can see, we have Keith that's helping to put the meals together on the tray. We've got Daniel down here, and Daniel's getting ready to take this meal down. Now we know that this individual would like a cup of coffee. She likes 2 creams with her coffee. So Keith is going to go ahead and pour her coffee, have that ready to go, and we'll have her beverage and her meal ready to go. Keith is continuing to make our plates. Some of the campuses are set up slightly differently, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Now, at this particular campus, we have a town square. In our town square areas, we're plugging the cart in, and then they're taking it down the 3 corresponding halls as the nurses or the nurses' aides come down and take those plates. Now, in some buildings, we may not need to make up the coffee or the juice decanters, because right around the corner here, we have our juice and we have our beverage, our coffee system set up and ready to go. So we wouldn't need quite so many beverages. So depending on your particular campus and whether or not your cart is located by the beverage service area would be how much you need in the way of beverages or coffee. Just a little FYI.
Sir?
Okay, now as Keith is getting ready to plate up our last couple of meals, a couple of things I want to talk about. First off, let's talk a little bit about sanitation. Now you'll notice as Keith brought the cart down, we have 1 dining services staff member that's down here. They're accompanying the cart. They're making the plates up to send them down the halls. Keith's not actually physically touching any foods, so we wouldn't need gloves to execute this cart as long as he's maintained his station, he has not left this area, and he washed his hands properly before he came down. So that's one thing. Let's talk a little bit about our staff members also. Now, Keith would stay here and stay with the cart while the nursing staff and the aides are coming down to get their trays and take them to the resident rooms. We would always have staff available, and that's one of the reasons that we serve our dining room first and our room service after we've completed our dining rooms, so that we got our staff done in the dining rooms, they're coming down the halls, they're assisting to make sure that we can get the execution of these carts to those resident rooms, maintain food quality and integrity of quality of our food. All right, now that we've completed our room service execution and we have very few room trays, which is what we encourage our campuses to have, 12 to 14 should be our maximum number of room service trays. We encourage people to come to the dining room. We all know it's better from so many areas, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Get involved, come to your neighborhood, come to the dining room. You're always going to have some people that eat in your rooms, hence the idea of our very nice room service cart. Once we're done with our room service, now we're going to start the clearing process. Now you'll notice what we've done is we've brought one of these clearing carts down to our town square area. And this cart will be used as the nursing staff clears the room trays out of the resident rooms. They will bring them down to this cart. We've got this staged up with some trays and some bus tubs, so items can be put in the individual bus tubs. The trays can be put on the shelves. Once all the room trays are completely cleared, then this cart will be pushed back to the kitchen, and we could start the cleanup and the washing of dishes of all the room service.